Hungry Bros, Dub MD, V Let's go.
Life is a play, live it out like your last scene. Sell your soul, generate wealth, get the cash cream. 2 kids, wife, house, lawn with the grass green. Dream or a nightmare, focus like a crack fiend. In the studio having bad dreams. Getting chased by a minotaur, getting scarred, love battlefield, Pat Benatar. Praying at the synagogue, lonely like I'm Eleanor Rigby, you dig me? Seeing death's messenger, body like Baywatch, face like Skeletor. Half man, half beast like a centaur, shooting triple infrared beams like the Predator. All the screams just made it worse. My fate's sealed, my body gonna lay in hearse. Justin Sosa wakes me to lay my verse.
Yeah, P, we having a food fight up in here. Come on, Fred. Let's go.
They like fresh gone missing. Nah, nigga, listen. Fresh been playing chef, cooking in the kitchen, but not with the Pyrex. More like some high-tech shit version of that boom bap y'all been missing. This the Africa black chain swinging medallion with pride like Kenya, but hungry like Somalians. Where's the scoreboard? Somebody put the tally in. Pump Valium, you listening to Wild Stallions. If the bread right, come holler, then we piloting. Fucking with a scholar who poppin' and got a following. I'm not talking Twitter like a nigga got a lot of friends. Talking fans who demand shows in metropolitan areas, arenas. We fiendin' is what they hollerin'. The scene ain't the same and it's lame and we nodding off. I ain't with the beef, turn beef to beef stroganoff. Popping off, miss me with the drama fam. Built from the same strain of DNA they built Donovan. McNabb, quick jab, shit said no problems then. Yeah.